The Colosseum was a place where the best of the best threw down to see who would be the last standing. Some contestants came from nothing, just to rise to the top. What if I started with the bare minimum in Elestrals, just enough packs to make a legal deck? I would clash with other casters with the eventual goal of winning a tournament. Every win would reward a single randomized pack to upgrade my deck, with other rewards along the way. Will I be the last caster standing? It's time to enter the Colosseum. Alright guys, welcome back to episode 2 of Elestrals Colosseum. We started out 0-2 in the first episode. Hopefully this episode gets a little bit better with the games. The bright side is either way we look at it, we will be adding something new to the deck here soon because we will either win our first episode or win our first game this episode, or we will lose three more straight and go to 0-5, which will then give us a pity card. So my initial idea with the pity card was to give myself one card at random from Shattered Stars. However, I've had some people tell me that instead of doing one single card, we should do a whole pack of Shattered Stars at random. So let me know what you guys think is the best idea there. I don't want the deck to get too good too quickly. So as of right now, I'm kind of leaning towards the one card at random. However, if enough people say we should do the pack, then we'll go that route. But the deck hasn't changed at all, but we'll start off with a quick little deck profile just to give you a refresher on what we're working with. So we've got one Smoky, one Earth Scout, one Earth Smog as the Fire Elestrals, Fire 1-cost Elestrals, Jolton and Rhyceros as the 1-cost Thunders, Pandolins as the only Lunar 1-cost, Nemesail is the only Wind, Cholotl, Morfrost Lycan, Morfrost Indus, Frigicub, Earthsicle, and Tadflow as the Frost Elestrals. Then we've got a Galaxy, a Core Brawl, and a Porcutide as the only water. And these two, honestly, kind of stuck out to me the first couple games that I've played so far. I didn't expect them to do as much work as they did. Obviously, I didn't win any of those games, but they felt like they performed pretty decent. For the Earths, we've got a Mudlet, a Cyprong, Barabib, Panzer, Boltuga, Paleoth, and the only consistency, the double Rummagem. So that's what we're working with the 1-cost Elestrals. For the 2 and 3 costs, we've got a Cyclovenom, Zephyrog, Javalantis, Neandersloth, Scavicle, Racerage, Glidesdale, and the 1 Imperial. And so far we haven't summoned any or casted any of these, so we might see the first cast of these this episode. After those, we can get to the runes. We've got, for the invokes, we got 1 Drops of Leith, 1 Golden Apple of Discord, 1 Tornado. For the stadiums, we've got 1 Island of Aeolia, 1 Volcanic Forge, and 1 Foliar Forest. And then for the only counter, we have a Chains of Prometheus. And for the only artifact, we have the Necklace of Harmonia. So this is what we're working with right now. Obviously not too great, but that is what makes the series fun. So this episode is, I'm considering the StellarCristophe episode. He was generous enough to play me a few times. And so he used 3 different decks, so I'm not going to be seeing any of the same decks being played against us. We'll get to see some new stuff. But yeah, big shout out to him. I'll put his channel in the description. A very nice guy. I've also bought some cards from him in the Elestrals Marketplace Discord, so if you're looking for some cards, go check him out there as well. Yeah, so I got a new mic finally, so hopefully this sounds a little bit better. The one I've been working with is the mic on a 10-year-old pair of Astros, so hopefully this new mic sounds better. I know the first episode was kind of wishy-washy with the sound, so hopefully this one's a little bit better, and then we'll work on getting better lighting, maybe some overlays to make the videos even better. Yeah, but let's get into game 1. Alright, so here we are with game 1 of episode 2. We start off here, no one takes a mulligan, so we're both starting even with 20 spirits here. I think he opts to go first. Looks like he is going to set a couple cards. He is going to cast a Frigicub and attack. And he's going to pass on that with 2 left in hand. Looks like I'm taking a minute to think about my plays here. Seems to be a common theme with me in these opening games when I'm learning all these new cards that I've never used before. Starting off with a golden apple here. I'm actually start with a misplay here because I didn't realize that you were supposed to discard when casting Golden Apple yourself. So kind of starting off with an error on my part, but we will see if that comes to matter in the end. We hit an Infrostix out of his hand though, which is pretty good for us. Looks like there's another misplay here. We also forgot that the opponent is supposed to mill too. So another misplay there. It looks like I need to learn how to play the cards. After the Golden Apple, I go ahead and cast a Cora Brawl in defense here and get to look at his cards. And he showed a Shield and a Tsunami here. And then we just pass it back over to him. He is going to start off by casting a Mountains of Boreas here. And it looks like he is going to expend one to draw as well. And finally, he's going to attack with the Frigicub to take out the defensive Cora Brawl. He's going to pass it back over to me. Looks like I'm thinking about my plays again. I go ahead with the casting of Porcutide in defense here. Kind of like I was talking about in the deck profile, the Cora Brawl and the Porcutide putting in a little bit of work here. Looks like I'm going to pass after that. He's going to go with the Rabbit in defense. He's going to use the Rabbit effect to look at the top 3 cards of his deck, add one of them to his hand. Looks like he goes ahead and sets one more right there, which we were able to peek and see that that was a gaze. I don't think I realized that during the actual game. He's going to go to battle phase and hit the, or swing the Frigicub over the Porcutide and expend a couple for the effect of the Porcutide here. And then he's going to pass to me. Looks like I've definitely got a hand here of a bunch of different one-cost Elestrals, but I don't know that I necessarily have anything to get over the Rabbit or the Frigicub for that matter, so I think I go ahead with an expend to draw here. Just trying to find something to get me out of the situation. I go ahead with setting one here, and that set is a Chains of Prometheus. Pass the turn over to him. Looks like he's doing some thinking here, figure out what his best play is, and he is going to ascend over the Frigicub into a Shiver here. And Shiver uses its effect to enchant one Frost from the Underworld to itself. And staring down an open board here, looks like he's going to be able to get some damage in. He opts to swap the Rabbit to attack and swing for 4, which I will take. One thing I've noticed is the mind games that I'm trying to play when trying to figure out what spirits to get rid of here, because I have just so many random cards in the deck. I try to make it as even as possible, so if it comes up towards the end of the game where I need a certain spirit, that I still have it, but it doesn't always work out with a deck like this. Like I'm going to cast the Volcanic Forge to take out the mountains on his side of the field. Probably not going to get any use out of the Forge, but at least we can use it as a removal piece. I'm going with a cast of the Galaxy here in attack position. Thinking maybe we might be able to get over the Rabbit. It's like I attempt to swing over the Rabbit, and he has the Shield. Nope, he decides to go with the Gaze instead. And so this play looks a little bit weird. Looks like he gazes siphoning 2 from the Shiver, and he does it in the battle step, so the Galaxy and the Rabbit crash. So it looks a little bit weird now. We'll see why he opted to go that route here in a second. He's going to go He's going to cast the Cryoling. Now that play that play that he made makes a little bit more sense because he wants to instantly ascend the Cryoling to a Cryovern here. He's going to search out that Cryovern and go ahead and special ascend it. We're not doing too great at this point. I think we're down to like 10-ish spirits here, and I want to say he's at like 12, so we're down a couple spirits. Our board isn't looking as good as his. Looks like he misenchants the Cryoling with a water here, probably just in case we have a tsunami. There was actually an error. I think he left the Cryoling on instead of the Cryovern, so just fixing that. He's going to go to battle and swing the Cryovern for 2 more damage, taking us down to 8 spirits. Looks like I'm going to go here, and knowing I don't have a whole lot to deal with the Cryovern on the board, plus a couple back row, I'm going to expend to draw, which I've been doing a lot in these first few episodes. It might not seem very great to do that, but most of the time I don't have anything to help me in a given situation, so I feel like trying to find another card in deck that might actually help might be better instead of just casting something in defense. But after the expended draw, I don't have anything to do, so I'm going to go ahead and pass it back to him. Looks like he's going to set another one and then go ahead with a cast of Brumalinks and attack. And he's going to attack for 3 damage, taking us down to 4 spirits. Just trying to figure out what I want to get rid of here. I'm going to draw. Just hoping I can find something here to get me out of this situation. Looks like I opt for another expend to draw, hoping I can find something. Which is a pretty rough spot to be in because that takes me down to 3 spirits, and obviously I cannot cast here, so probably a misplayed expend to draw here on my part, knowing that he can take me out next turn. I think we were going over here. I actually had like 8 cards in hand here, so I was confirming that there was no hand size limit. And it looks like here he can simply re-enchant the Cryovern and swing for 4 damage in total, and he wins the first game of this episode. On to game 2. Alright, here we are for game 2 of episode 2. Lost the first game, hoping we can make a comeback here and get our first win. Looks like once again neither of us are going to take a mulligan, so we're going to start off with an even 20 spirits. I think I actually won the die roll here, and I'm going to opt to go second. He's going to start with an expend to draw here. He's going to set 3 cards and pass it over to me. I think going second is probably the best play in these early games just because we kind of need every advantage we can get. So the extra card, the battle phase, it's going to help out more so than going first. Looks like we are going to go with our early series MVP Cora Brawl here. See what he's got face down. He's going to go ahead and reveal. What are we working with? A Gorgon's Gaze, a Chains of Prometheus, and Shield of Achilles here. So now we know what we are going to run headfirst into. I am going to opt to go ahead and attempt to swing the Cora Brawl for 1, and that will connect. I'm going to pass it back over to him. Looks like he is going to go with a cast of the Necrof here, so looks like we're going to be dealing with some burn. He's going to swing over the Cora Brawl, and because the Necrof destroyed the Cora Brawl in battle, it's going to force us to expend a spirit here. We're going to go ahead and get rid of his Zaptor for that. Looks like I'm going to go. I'm going to talk with my hands for a little bit. I didn't really ever realize that I was a hand talker, but watching this back, that's what it looks like. Looks like this burn strategy that we're it is a burn strategy that we are playing against. I don't know how the deck will fare against this. Kind of see my hand right here as I'm shuffling my cards. Looks like I eventually will get to the point of attempting to cast a Mudlet here, hoping to use its effect to change the Necrof to defense and be able to swing over it. Although we know he has some back row to deal with this if he wants to. I feel like we don't really have the luxury of playing around back row at this point, though. He's going to go with the Gorgon's Gaze before we can even attack to stop the Mudlet effect. Looks like after that, I will just pass it back to him. He is going to cast a Warmite here. Set another back row. And it looks like he's going to attack the Mudlet with the Necrof, forcing us to expend another spirit, and then attack directly with the Warmite for another damage. Necrof's already putting in some work early here for him. Definitely getting its value. It's like I'm going to go here. A lot of options. None of them too great, though. I'm going to go with a cast of Jolton here, so I can search one of the 3 stadiums in our deck at this point. Not that any of them will do a whole lot for us, but another card's another card. Looks like I opt to grab the Foliot Forest here. Stadiums might not do too much for us just yet, but as we open some more packs and start to get some wins, I feel like they're gonna blow up, and Jolton's gonna be an MVP. Looks like after thinking about it here, I'm going to attempt to swing the Jolton over the Warmite. And that will go through, sending Warmite to the Underworld. Looks like Cristophe's going to go here. He's going to draw his card. And he's going to go with a cast of Eddie here, which will be able to take care of our Jolton pretty easily. This Necrof is going to be able to get even more value on top of the, 2 that it's already forced us to expend. It's going to make us take another here. And then we'll take a second damage for the Eddie attack. I'm going to draw here. Really need to do something about this Necrof. This thing is putting in way too much work for a 1 cost. Looks like I don't have too many options here, but one option I do have is to go with a cast of the Forest here. It's going to buff any Earth Enchanted Elestrals by 1 attack and defense. And I'm going to grab another Terratlas and cast a Cyprong here. So Cyprong effect doesn't really matter here. However, the Forest will buff it by 1, making it a 5/4 instead of a 4/3, which means I can actually do something about the Necrof. However, the play that I come to forces me to crash with the Necrof, meaning that I will have to expend another spirit because the Necrof is technically destroying me by battle. So all in all, the Necrof made me expend 4 spirits in total, which is pretty crazy. It's definitely the most valuable Necrof I've ever seen. Gonna get rid of the Vipyro off of the Necrof effect and pass it back over to him. He's dealing with an open board here, so not a great situation for us to be in. He's going to cast the Forge to get rid of our Foley Forest. Looks like he is going to expend to draw here, and it looks like he's just going to swing the Eddie in for a single damage. It's like we're playing those mind games again, trying to figure out what we might need late in this clash to see if we can pull out a victory. It's like I'm going to draw here. And I'm going to cast out the infamous golden apple here that I never can resolve correctly. Looks like I'm going to hit an ambrosia out of his hand, which is a pretty good hit, but and this time we actually forced the mill 2 and we hit 2 nectars there, but once again I misplayed and didn't discard the card out of my hand in order to activate the golden apple, so got a little bit better on resolving it correctly, but still not perfect. Once again, we'll see. Didn't matter in game 1. We'll see if it matters here. I'm going to go ahead and cast the Porcupine here and attack. And I'm going to equip, or empower it rather, with the Necklace of Harmonia. Feels very bad to do this. The Necklace of Harmonia is a pretty solid card. It gives us a +5 attack boost, allowing us to swing over big threats. However, it forces you to expend 2 in the end phase while it's on the board. So it's a big give and take. He is going to be able to just shield here, which is going to send the necklace to the underworld. Porcupine obviously will go back to the hand from the shield. And we're in a pretty bad spot here. After casting the necklace, we were at 4 spirits, so looks like he is going to at least be able to do 1 damage here, possibly more with the eddy, and then if he has something else to cast, he might be able to get us down really low here. He will cast another Necroff, swing for 2 damage. At this point, I only have 2 left in the deck. Looks like I just go ahead and cast a Porcupine in defense here. It's not going to do too much at this point. It's a little bit too late. We've got 1 spirit left in deck. He's got enough to get through that 1 spirit and take this game. So, rough game 2 here. We'll see if we can do anything in game 3. Alright, here we are for game 3 of episode 3. Hopefully here we can get our first win. Even if we don't, though, we will fall to 0-5 and at least get something to add into the deck. Looks like once again no mulligans here. Cristophe's going to go first. He's going to start with a casting of Lumaru here. And he's going to set 1 and then cast an Apollo here, enchanting it with, looks like 3 spirits. He will go ahead and disenchant 1. He's going to foretell 3. He hits an Argo, an Ambrosia, and a Ruminous here. And he will go ahead and add that Ruminous to his hand. Looks like after the Apollo, he's going to pass it over to us. I'm going to start out here by casting Tornado. I'm going to hit that Apollo, forcing him to lose those couple spirits. I'm going to go with the Golden Apple once again. You think the 3rd time casting this card I would get it correct, but you would be wrong. I'm going to hit one of his cards at random here. Looks like I'm going to hit the Apollo out of his hand that we returned off of the Tornado. And now that I've watched myself incorrectly resolve Golden Apple, I will never incorrectly resolve it again, mark my words. And this time we also didn't even do the mill effect of it, so I really need to start paying attention to that one, but it is saved in the memory now. I'm going to go ahead with Drops of Leaf here. Looks like I'm hitting all of my invoke runes early in this game. I'm going to return a Boltuga and an Island of Aeolia here to draw 3 cards. Feels like the deck has a whole bunch of options when I actually draw the few invoke runes that it has. We'll see if it helps us out in the long run. Alright, after the Leaf, I'm going to cast a Mudlet here. Attempt to, or switch his Lumaroo to defense and attempt to swing over it with the Mudlet. However, it looks like he's going to, well, maybe. Yeah, he decides to flip the Argo. He's going to pay the 2 for the Argo. He's going to look at his deck, and he is going to grab a Golden Fleece, empowering it to the Lumaroo. That's going to buff the Lumaroo's defense as well as act as a protection for it if it somehow gets destroyed. But because it buffs the defense, the attack will do nothing, and we'll just have to pass it back over to him. Argo is a very expensive play to make here, but looks like it's going to save him. Save him the Lumaroo. He's going to draw for turn. He's going to cast an Ambrosia here. He's going to use Illuminape and heal 3 more Illuminapes. Ambrosia is a very good card. Hopefully we can grab one of those here soon. And then, why not a second one? He's going to heal a few more Illuminapes. He is fully healthy at this point, other than the one Lumaroo used for the second Ambrosia. He's going to switch the Lumaroo to attack, and looks like he's going to go with an expended draw here, set 1, and swing the Lumaroo over the Illuminape. Lumaroo effect's going to trigger here, forcing me to mill 3. That's going to hit a Rummagem, a Panzer, and a Morfrost. All 3 of those going straight to the Underworld. I'm going to go here and cast our favorite little pufferfish, Porcutide, in defense. Not much else I can do. I'm just going to pass it over to him. Looks like he's going to set another card. And he is going to send over the Lumaroo into the Ruminous. We knew he had that from the Apollo a few turns ago. That's going to get rid of the Fleece. Lumaroo is actually a pretty cool card. It allows you, or it forces your opponent to mill 3 for each Spirit of damage that it does, and it can attack directly. So, or it can't attack directly, but the bow allows it to attack directly. So he gets the Bow of Apollo out here and empowers the Ruminous with it. The bow also has a second effect where if Apollo is enchanted, then it allows you to heal 1. So, if on damage, so it's a pretty decent card if it is used correctly. Looks like he's going to go ahead and swing the Ruminous in directly, so I'm going to pay the 2 spirits here, and then I'm going to have to mill another 6 cards to resolve the Ruminous effect. It's going to hit an Earth Scout, a Nemesail, the Forge, the Rummagem, Chilotl, and the Forest. So a couple of our stadiums gone here. Looks like we're running into a terrifying mill strategy. Only terrifying because, well, we're playing a Colosseum deck. It's not the greatest. Looks like I'm going to go here and see if I have any way of getting through this Ruminous. I opt to cast a Rhyceros in defense, which the Rhyceros effect just says that things cannot attack the turn that they are casted unless they are Thunder Enchanted. He's going to go here. He's going to cast a Plucky in defense, allowing him to search for a Divine Rune, so probably another Apollo coming in our future. And that's exactly what he grabs. Looks like we need to figure out a way to get rid of this Ruminous before it mills us out for the win. He's going to go ahead and cast that Apollo that he just got off the Plucky. He's going to enchant it with 3 spirits in total. He's going to disenchant 1 from it to foretell 3, hitting a Lumaroo, a Calfmel, and a First Light. He's going to opt to add the Calfmel to hand, stacking the other 2 however he wants. And once again, I think we know how this is going to play out. That The Kangaroo is going to force us to mill a couple more cards. Cristophe just had to show off here, had to win the game in a funny, or had to attempt to win the game in a funny fashion, I should say. It's the first time I've ever played against a mill deck, and it is not going well. He's going to swing for the 2 directly with the Ruminous. Going to get rid of a Terratlus and a Leviathan here and have to mill another 6. He's going to hit the Imperial, Galaxy, Glidesdale, Zefrog, Ursmog, and Ursicle here. So, pretty rough spot to be in here. We're losing cards rapidly. I'm going to go and draw for turn. Looks like he also, I forgot to mention, he was able to heal the 1 off of the bow because of the Enchanted Apollo as well. Looks like I'm trying to figure out anything that I can do at this point to get through this Ruminous here. It's hitting pretty hard, both in terms of damage and forcing us to mill. Looks like I'm going to go with a cast of a Paleoth here. The Misenchanted Paleoth, just in case that face down is a Tsunami. I'm going to equip it with the Necklace of Harmonia here to give it that big attack buff. Thinking that this is probably the only way that we can get through this Ruminous at this point. And it looks like I'm illegally going to attack over the Ruminous here. The Ricera should have stopped the Paleoth, which I didn't realize it at the time, and neither did he. So, another misplay on my part. Something else that, learn the cards. I'll get it down eventually. And then, looks like during my end phase, I'm going to resolve the Necklace effect and expend another 2 spirits. So we're going to send Illuminate and a Terratlus right there. After expending those 2, I think we're down to 4 spirits at this point. So we are very low. However, he is also pretty low. I want to say he's around 6 or 7 at this point. So there's actually a shot that we might be able to pull out the victory here, but it's going to come down to the wire. Looks like he is going to cast a Calf Melon defense here. Calf Melon, when it's destroyed, gets to heal 3. And then he's going to cast a First Light here. He's going to look through his deck and stack a Solar Elestral on the top. He is going to stack a Humburst on the top of his deck. And it looks like at this point he goes ahead and passes the turn. Not too sure why he didn't go ahead and foretell there to grab the... Or no, he foretold earlier. That's why. I know that was last turn. Yeah, I guess he could have Apollo'd here to grab that Humburst, but opts not to. I'm going to go and draw. Looks like at this point I need something in order to get through his defenses here. That Calf Mel is a 4 defense as well as allowing him to heal, so it's not ideal, but got to figure out some way to get through it. Looks like I opt to expend to draw here, trying to find something to get us out of this. Looks like I'm going to attempt to swing the Paleoth over the Calf Mel here. And that will go through, however, he will get to heal his 3 spirits. So I want to say that takes him back up to around 10 spirits, and we are only at like 3 left, so we're in a pretty bad spot. I'm going to pass it back over to him, so we cannot get over the Plucky. He's going to Apollo foretell 3. We know he drew the Humburst for turn because he stacked it last turn. Now he's going to foretell 3, isn't able to find a Solar Elestral there. Looks like, however, he will send the Plucky into the Humburst, taking him down to 9 spirits left. And at this point, he's got us low enough. Why not? He's going to pop the Humburst effect, forcing us to mill another 6 cards. He's going to hit a Scavicle, Jolton, Pandolence, a Tadflow, the Chains of Prometheus, and the Cyclovenom. So I think at this point we only had like 7 or 8 cards left in deck here, so we're pretty low both in terms of cards in deck and spirits in spirit deck. So once again, pretty bad spot. I think we're down to 1 here after resolving the Harmonia effect at the end of last turn. So he's got to figure out either a way to mill us just a couple more or kill us through the spirit deck. Looks like I'm gonna go here, trying to figure out the best play, how to get the most damage possible, since he has no Elestrals to go through at this point. I'm gonna cast a Cyprong here. I'm gonna switch the Rhyceros and the Porcutide to attack. It looks like I'm gonna go ahead and swing for 4 here, which, watching this back, should have only been 3 because once again the Rhyceros should have not allowed the Cyprong to attack just yet. However, neither of us caught it, so something else that I will have to remember for future episodes. The necklace destroys itself in the end phase because I cannot expend any more spirits. So looks like the 4 Elestrals on the board is those are my last shot in order to win. He's going to cast an Ash Rabbit here, which is a pretty good card. It allows you to basically do an Ash Rabbit effect, but for the Underworld instead of the deck. So he gets to pick 3 cards here, and then I tell him which one to add to his hand. So he's going to show me 2 Ambrosia in the Calf Mill. I opt to give him an Ambrosia here. The Calf Mill essentially does the same thing, just gives him a body as well. So I figured the Ambrosia is probably the better option. He's going to fire off that Ambrosia here, healing himself. A Vipyro and 2 Luminape. So I want to say he has around 7 left in spirit deck after that. And then I think he's just going to pass it back to me here. Also worth noting that nothing that I currently have on the board will actually get me over the defense of the Ash Rabbit, so not having any spirits left in spirit deck, not having any Ambrosia to get any more spirits left in the spirit deck, it's looking like this is the end for us in Game 5. However, I don't just want to go out on a surrender, so I'm going to continue playing. I'm going to swap a couple things to defense. And it looks like I am forced to just pass it back over to him. He's going to draw. He's going to cast a Lumaroo here. He's going to activate the Apollo for a final time. He's going to hit a First Light, a Cyphermel, and a Gorgon's Gaze, so he'll be able to add the Cyphermel to hand. He is not able to attack here off of the Rhyceros, so Cristophe, knowing what cards do, I should say. I'm going to draw here for turn. Only got 4 left in deck at this point. None left in spirit deck. Looks like we're just getting a quick little spirit count here, deck count here. And unfortunately, I'm just going to have to pass back, so not able to pull this one out. It feels like we got super close. I know he was able to heal a few times, and that looked to be the difference. He will cast a Cyphermel here. He's going to use the Cyphermel effect and be able to enchant itself with the Golden Fleece using spirits from the Underworld. He's going to grab those 2 Luminapes, equipping it to the Cyphermel here. At this point, he's got nothing left to do other than swing the Lumaroo. He's going to kill the Rhyceros finally. He's going to hit a Morfrost, the Racerage, and the Zephrog, I want to say. He's going to crash the Cypramel into the Cyprong here. However, the Fleece will be able to protect his Cypramel here. So, once again, we're in the same position. We don't even have any cards left in deck after the Lumaroo milled the 3. And at this point, I'm going to go out on my own turns and swing the Porcutide into the Lumaroo, forcing me to lose the game. So, GG's here, game 3. Alright guys, here we are, 0-5, we're at the pity wheel. I'll probably spend this first one to at least see which, I guess, pack we're going to get, which month we're going to get of Shattered Stars. However, we will wait till the next episode to actually figure out what either card we're going to get, or if you guys decide to do the pack, then what pack we're going to get, and then we'll add that to the collection next episode. So, go ahead and see what we can get here. Thunder would be amazing because there's an Astrabbit in there. Looks like we are going to hit water. So next episode, we'll get a random card from the water pack. I'm not going to include spirits in these. These are just going to be the actual main deck cards, the Elestrals and whatever runes exist in that pack. So yeah, just let me know what you guys think, if we should get the whole pack or if we should do the one card at random. And that's where we'll pick up next episode. But anyways, once again, big shout out to StellarCristophe. Thanks for destroying me in 3 straight games on Elestrals Colosseum, but we'll catch you next time. Thanks for watching.